Today for the interview, we're going to go over to Jamestown, North Dakota and talk with one of the street stock drivers as it's a big weekend for street stock racing in our neck of the woods. Mr. Jordan Johnson, the 27J. Jordan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. So I've been inside all day and I was just outside going frolfing with a friend and I didn't realize how hot and muggy it was outside. So a little bit worn out, but it's good to talk some racing now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it looks like you're busy working in the shop. Have you been slaving away in the sun and humidity as well?
Yeah, I worked all day and then I just, got to get ready for racing. So I come outside and I work and then I go home and work some more. Every racer does it, so it just a part of the game.
Yeah, it's kind of the addiction. It's like racing is the second full time job at this time of year, along with the full time jobs that we all have. And so,
Yeah.
kind of a level of craziness we all have. And so, if any of you watching and or listening want to ask Jordan a question, feel free to drop it in the comments below. Like Lindsay Hansen is already tuning in with a couple of comments. So, hello, Lindsay, as well. And, well, what's this first question he's got? Ask Jordan about the front row bet he made with him and Wibstead. All right, story time. Let's crank it out.
So we were starting. It's just a regular race night, and it was when the tour rained out and everything, street stock tour. So like Kyle Dykoff and Hunter Carter and all them were come up and just to test the waters. And Jaron Webstead starts on the outside front row, and I looked at Jaron and I said, Jaron, if you win it from the outside front row, I'll win it. And then Lindsay was standing there and he goes, I start on the outside front row. He goes, how about we all three win it? Well, Jaron goes out and wins his feature. I go out and run second for about half the race, and then fall back to third. And by the end of the race, ended up in fifth after a bad situation there at the last corner, last lap deal, and then Lindsay goes out in his feature and won it. And I was the lone wolf that could not make the deal.
Well, hey, that's a fun bet to make, and now you got to get some tips and tricks from Jaron and Lindsay to kind of get a few spots better on the next time you make a bet.
Yeah, that's for sure, because they were on a mission that night and I was not on the same mission.
Some nights are like that, although this year you've been having a pretty solid season, several good runs, and you've been kind of traveling a little bit to some of the different tracks. So I guess to kind of get this rolling, or even before we talk about this season, how many years have you been behind the wheel of a race car?
I've been behind the wheel 10 years now. I know it's kind of crazy that I just turned 21, so I've been doing it since I was 10. I started in a slingshot and then been in a street stock for 6 years.
Okay, that's right. I forgot that you were in slingshots because when you said 10 years and you're 21, I'm like, well, that doesn't add up. He wasn't in the street stock when
Yeah,
he was like 11 or
yeah,
12, so
no,
now it adds up.
yeah.
Did anything correlate from racing street stock or not slingshots going into the street stocks, or is it kind of just getting used to kind of like the formality and like how things work when you go on to the dirt track?
That class is a really good beginner class, like, for young kids to learn the formalities, like you said, to learn, how to line up and, single file when they're telling us our lineup, or where you got to stage, and how the flagman operates, and how all the flags work, and how, the whole process of the racing works.
Gotcha. And that's really important for young racers these days to kind of like make it so it's not such a culture shock when they go to, legends or hobby stocks, bombers or streets. So it kind of helps to kind of get everything kind of as ironed out as you can before you get into the big leagues, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lindsay's also asking how much you're getting paid to wear that shirt.
Oh, at the end of my paycheck, the numbers don't get disclosed, so I don't get paid anything. They're on the car. I work for them, but that's it. That's it.
Okay. Nice. So we got a couple other people tuning in. We got Joe Didi checking in. Thank you, Joe, for tuning in, and thank you for your support of the interviews. Also, we have Ryan Ost checking in as well. Joe is asking, any chance of getting your dad back into driving?
Uh, well, I guess that it's not really out but he has he's agreed to race Scott Bintz's car, his street stock for the Wayzata 100, and then for the Stampede at the end of the race here at the end of the year. As Scott's going to be away for work and business related stuff, so it I don't know if he wanted it out, but it's out now, and can't do nothing about it now.
Hey, that's why people need to tune into Wednesday Night Live. You get the breaking news and the secrets. That's awesome to hear. And
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I've missed him behind the wheel too. And he was having some pretty good runs here, even before this little break, I guess we'll call it. And now
Yep.
he's kind of, I guess, translated that to you because you've been kind of picking up where he left off.
Yeah, I've had a good start to the season, and then after I rolled the car, it's kind of tumbled downhill a little bit. But this sport's built ups and downs, and been working on some problems that I'm finding with the car yet. But I'm thinking I'm going to turn around here.
Yeah, and this upcoming weekend will be a cool weekend to kind of get things turned around a little bit. Although, so Ryan Ost has a question here. Any future plans on running B mods? Because he wants to know if he needs to retire or not.
I'd love to get into a B mod, but I got to figure out how to drive a street stock before I can try to drive anything else.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Ryan, you just won down in Cheyenne. I don't know why you think you need to retire. You're just getting things rolling for the end of the year because this is about when you got hot last year.
Exactly.
Well, how would you assess before you took a tumble a couple weeks back of your 2025 season? Because, like I said, you've been traveling over some different racetracks throughout the summer.
Yeah, there was always I wanted to stop and get to every North Dakota track that races Wayzata, and I accomplished that after I had knocked off Grand Forks and Devil's Lake this year because I've run Jamestown and Wishick and Lisbon this year, and I I don't know. I think it's awesome. I love to travel. It's just a lot of these places are so far. It's fun. I like going to new places. It's just a different atmosphere, new people. Just it's crazy. It's fun.
Well, and kind of the cool part about like the North Dakota street stock tracks in general is they all are about the same size, and so you really don't have
Yeah.
to do much for like gear changes or much for setup besides, I guess, depending on what when they run in the night. So it's pretty good to
Yeah.
kind of just bounce from track to track with not having much to change.
Yeah, that was for sure nice. The only issue with that is, I was going to Fergus Falls for the World Outlaws show. I was going to race Fergus, so I had my gears in for Fergus, and then I was going to spend the night there and work on the car, and then change gears and head up to Grand Forks. So I was 6 minutes from Fergus Falls when they canceled it, so I just chugged along and went to the shop down there, and Travis Sauer was nice enough to let me work at his place and keep the car there overnight. So changed gears and then had to head to a complete new atmosphere that I had never even, I've been there one time racing, and that was with Dad. He raced there, and it was way different. And racing it was awesome than just watching. So
Yeah, and we have some really good tracks around here, and I know you mentioned Fergus Falls, and you've told me that like that's your favorite track, and so what makes it stand out as one of your favorite tracks to race at?
I just think that it curves to my style a little bit more. Like I like to drive pretty aggressively, and sometimes it puts me in bad situations, and otherwise it works out. I felt like I've always learned the most from racing there. Whether it's slick and you can run the top and the bottom, or it's hammered down. I feel like you can get either track states in the night where versus coming to like Jamestown where you get like really patchy traction, and then it's like the last few weeks it's just been bone slick top to bottom, just glass, and I feel like I've always learned just so much more there. And then every time I go there, it's for the 100, so I'm there for a week, and it's a lot of laps to do in a week, and so it's always just the place is just badass.
It's one of my favorite places to go to. I think the racing there is always really good. I haven't been there that much this year. I've been there just one weekend thanks to the weather and the way it's kind of played out. But yeah, looking forward to kind of getting there for some of the year-end big races as well. Ryan's got another question. He's asking, what was the best part of running against your dad?
Oh, the best part about running against my dad, like, I guess growing up, you just always are around him and watching him, and especially him when he was running really hard for national points and stuff. He was winning a lot of races, and he was just super fast. So it's just you see that, and then before you know it, you're side by side with him, and it seems like we always had magnets to our cars. It's just we always found each other, and like side by side racing with the person you grew up watching and the person you idolize. He's my father, so it's nothing beats being side by side with the person that is one of the most important people in your life. You can't beat that.
You do have a point. I always would see like a picture that Cody Papke would always get, and usually you two would be side by side in at least a few of them. And it's like, dang, you guys do have magnets around your cars.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah,
it's probably fun racing against them. It's like, dang, I don't want to like rub fenders against them because you probably then have to work on both cars because of that.
yeah. That's yeah. Normally we never really got into it, but he's we tried to stay off each other as best as we could. But if we both help each other on the car on both cars, whether I need help or he needs help. So I guess we do end up working on both cars.
Yep, totally makes sense. We also got Karen Didier checking in along with Rusty Rocket, announcer down in Aberdeen. So hey, Rusty, good to see you checking in as well. So with the being a big weekend coming up, the Street Stock Tour is having their championship weekend at Cheyenne and a doubleheader in Jamestown. I'm curious from your perspective because you've been to a couple of tour races already this year, but what's it like when a tour like that comes into your race?
I think it's awesome because it just brings different drivers, like a lot of guys we don't ever see until the Wayzata 100, because a lot of them guys just don't travel this far west, and it's super cool and brings in good money. The payout is awesome from top to bottom compared to like a regular night, and it just is a big challenge. It's wherever they go, they just put on a great show, and they're just really tough competitors. So it's super fun to be around them guys. And then it's like, everyone says that the street stocks are like a family. If anything happened to anybody, they're always going to be there, to help you out.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool, like in Jamestown in particular. So your pit stall is just off the backstretch, so you kind of have like a clear vantage point of the track, and you're kind of just off of where the pit road is for the features. And so there's a lot. Sometimes there's a lot of action right in front of your pit stall area.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Hopefully not too much, but sometimes you need it to get back out on the track, and I've seen it utilized, especially during street stock tour races. A lot of people helping each other out to get back on the track.
Yeah, 100%.
Lindsay's asking in reference to you and your dad racing, did you guys make both your cars orange so you guys couldn't blame one another for paint marks on the fenders?
Oh, no, I wish it was like that. It's just Dad was always orange. He was always just that was his color, right? And it stands out. People have black cars and they're super hard to see on the racetrack and stuff. And that the reason for orange is both our favorite colors. So we just ended up being around with the orange. So.
Well, was it a big culture shock to a lot of people when you kind of switched up the scheme on your car a little bit for this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was kind of it was a big shock to a lot of people because, the only thing that we've ever changed with the car was like a graphic color or something. It wasn't the whole car was never changed, and I decided to just go for it and change something, and I like the way it turned out.
I do too. It's nice to kind of change things up every now and then. We kind of joke on our podcast if people don't change their schemes up a whole lot from year to year. It's like, well, they're creating a brand, so you kind of like a brand that you and Spencer kind of built up with those orange cars, and so I do like the subtle change though. Ari Thompson checking in. We kind of talked about this a little bit, but for Ari, he's asking what your favorite track is. So go ahead and talk about your favorite track or favorite tracks.
Fergus Falls is my favorite track. Like we put on before. The racing there's just awesome. There's nothing like watching the Wayzata A mods run the wall or watch the late models run the wall. Like it's just, and then being able to stand right there and watch it, or there's not a bad seat in the house. You could see all the racing from anywhere.
That's a good point. Like that place is so like wide open, and you could have like there's tailgating seating, there's pits or stands and bleachers on the back stretch and front stretch. So there's many different vantage points to watch a race there. So it's like you said, there's not a bad seat in the house to watch racing there. Do you have a favorite class that you like to watch other than street stocks in general?
I love watching the Wayzata A mods. They're like a real A mod, and they're just wide open and they're just sweet. Just the look of them, and they always seem to have like the top drivers, or like just for some odd reason they're just always there, always racing, and like they always put a good show on.
I would agree with that. Yeah, they're kind of. I remember the first year I went over to Fergus Falls and for the 100, and like just because grew up in Western North Dakota, so I didn't get to see Wissota mods as much, and then just here like being at the end of the straightaways and kind of hearing those engines kind of like just roar. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah,
this is different.
yeah, way different.
Yeah. So are you planning to go to the Wissota 100 again this year, or what's your plans for the rest of the year after the point season's kind of done at your home tracks?
Well, I'm kind of out of the points now for everything, but so I'm kind of running on a free schedule for the rest of the year. I want to try to do some more traveling, whether it's go to Lisbon a couple more times, and I'm planning on going Fergus Falls for the rest of the month, and in preparation for the 100. So the 100 is on my list. I'm pre-registered for it. My parking spot's paid, so I'm already X amount of dollars invested in it. So I kind of forced to go now.
Well, there you go. That's good that you're committed early. That way, I'm kind of the same way when I do like marathons and half marathons. You commit early, and
Yeah,
it's like, all right, well, I better be training for it and getting ready.
yeah, yeah. And then plan on doing this, probably the Sauerkraut 500, and then Stampede, and the Gopher State Showdown will probably be my last race of the year.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to be talking about all these year-end specials. They're coming up pretty dang quick. The summer went by way too
Yeah,
fast.
yeah, that is for sure.
Andy Rosso checking in from South Dakota. Hey, Andy, good to see you. Maybe get to see him once or twice, hopefully this weekend. He's asking, is Lindsey Hansen your favorite IMCA A-Mod driver?
Oh, Lindsay's up there. Lindsay's up there. I've known Lindsay a long time, so he's definitely up there in the top three. Top, it's so hard to say. I got good friends. Colin Hibden, I come to know him pretty well, and I got there's really, I guess I don't really talk to a lot of IMCA drivers anymore. I just Lindsay's always around, so I say Lindsay's probably on the top. He's great to be around. Fun.
That is true. It's never a dull moment when Lindsay is around. He's always got a quirky
Yeah,
comment or something. He's been having fun on his Facebook page as of late too, so that's always been a
yeah,
hoot as
yeah.
well. Oh, Ryan Oss is mentioning Winter Nationals in Aberdeen. Is that on your schedule at all?
I I don't know. I got a really bad love-hate relationship with Aberdeen, and lately it's only ever been hate. So, uh, ever since 2008, the place has never agreed with my family. So I'm not sure about going to Aberdeen. We'll see.
Well, don't completely rule it out. I know it's kind of their first year that they're doing that event. I believe it's at the last weekend of September, if I remember correctly. So, a lot of time until then to kind of mull things over, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I'm still in one piece by then. Well, maybe.
Well, maybe Ryan's asking, maybe not so much for if you're racing, but maybe if you can help him crew like down there at those races, because I believe he won the Big Buck Nationals last year, and I think he won like
Yeah.
just the week before that in
Yeah.
Aberdeen. So that's
Oh yeah.
usually when he gets on a hot streak. So maybe he's trying to like prepare himself for some of those big races.
Yeah. That could be the case. If he needs a crew guy, I'll go down there and I'll be tire changer for a night.
There you go. There you go. Well, while we got a second here, I want to give you an opportunity to list off any of your sponsors and any of your crew people that help your race team out.
First off, I'd like to my dad, obviously, I wouldn't be doing it with it if it wasn't for him. If he hasn't been doing it for so long, he's always there to help me when I need help. I got a lot of great partners. Central Sales Incorporated, Jeff Romsdahl, he helps out a ton with going up and down the road. Klein's Collision Center, they always, if the car needs to be straightened, they're always willing to put it on the rack and help. And they paint the cars, they make it look good. And Dakota Engine Builders, they build a great piece underneath the hood. And Jim and Randy and Aaron, they're awesome to work with. Um, Hoggle Construction, Kelly Hoggle, he's been with me for my whole entire racing career. I've known him my whole life. He's been great to me. Uh, James Valley Street Machines, Scovey, he does a lot for me. He's good. Uh, QA1 Shocks by Team 21X, Travis Sauer. We've been working on a lot of shock stuff lately. Uh, doing, I can't help, they help me out so much. It's awesome. Shocker Hitch Scott. Obviously, I'm employed there, and that helps out. Got a couple new sponsors. Austin's Towing out of Fargo. Austin Clark, he's one of my good buddies, and he helps out. Another one, Sean Becker at Gerdau Metal Recycling. He got us a bunch of sheets for the cars to build bodies, and that was awesome. That was good. Grimes Racing Service, Jason Grimes, he helps out with straightening rear ends, and if we need any like quick parts, quick fixes, he's always there to help out.
It's a good group of people behind you.
Yeah, always got a lot of people. Cavendish Farms helps out too.
There you go. Good deal on your sponsors and crew members. Well, to go back on the Winter Nationals thing, Ryan's saying the only way that he'll let you come down is with your car.
Oh, well, maybe. We'll see. I've been down there 3 times this year, once with a race car and twice without. So without's kind of taking the cake.
Makes sense. Ari's asking, what is the first car you ever had? I don't know if he's referring to race car or just in general.
First car I ever had, like race car, would have been Slingshot. I don't even know. Like, I just think they're a mass brand. They're made. We bought it and raced it. And my first street car is a 1999 Suburban, and I drive it every day still. And I put tons and tons and tons of miles on it. And then I got my first street stock from Al Schmidt, and that was a race star. And now I got this Krasinski.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. Al's still behind the wheel of the street stocks as well. I believe he's coming up on his 40th anniversary of racing next year. So.
Yep.
It's a lot of years and a lot of laps behind the wheel. I'm curious, is there a track that you haven't been to yet to either race at or attend that you want to hit up?
To race at, I'd love to go, like to Cedar Lake. I'd love to race at Cedar Lake, and I think that place puts on great shows. And honestly, I'd go to any track that I could race at. There's nothing like that's super highlighted on my bucket list. Like, I got to get there if the schedule works out, and if I'm willing to go, I'm going to go. That's just the way it is.
Gotcha. You're kind of like me. You're just like going and hitting up different tracks, and it's kind of nice to see some different scenery every now and then, and race against some good competition. Well, I don't race myself, but. Ooh, Don Oprecki checking in, wondering what made you pick the number 27?
27. My birthday's on the 27th of July, so my dad he's born on the 16th, and that's he had a couple other reasons why he picked 16, but that was just the first thing that popped into my head was my birthday's the 27th. I'm picking 27. And the J, that happened because when I was racing, Jerry Lamb was still racing, and he was always 27, and I didn't want to have to him show up and give him the 27L or whatever, the 27J himself. So I just said I'll take the J and run with it.
There you go. Yeah, I like the J addition on there. Always know you as a 27J, so it's like if you just see 27, it's like, well, oh yeah, it is Jordan Johnson. But I'm like 27J is just like my first thought. It's like you. So Good deal. Curious on your weekend plans before I let you go. Are you planning to, obviously, Jamestown, are you planning to go to Cheyenne as well?
Yeah, the car is ready to go. Load it tomorrow, and I'll be on my way down to Lisbon tomorrow. So the plan is to race Lisbon, Jamestown, Jamestown, weather permitting, and then at the end of it all, Tri County Speedway in Wishick has a yeah, they're throwing a little bit extra money at the streeters. So it's I think they said 700 to win there, and I've had a couple good runs there this year. So I'm hoping that we can pull some guys from the tour that way. Knowing I know it's on a Sunday, but it pays pretty well throughout the whole field. So
I'm glad you mentioned that, and great reminder too. Yeah, they pumped up the payout quite a bit down in Wishick. Pretty good weekend for street stocks. So if you're on the fence about coming over for a day or two, well, hey, there's another race you can hit up before the end of the week. And I believe they start. Do they start at like 5 or 6 o'clock in Wishick?
I think it's five. No, I think it's six. They start at 6,
Well,
and
either
I've
way,
always been at it. I've always been unloaded, raced my heat race and my feature, and been home before 10 o'clock. So
so
and they pay at the door. So you leave with a check in hand.
there you go. So if you're worried about getting home late, you may get home late just because it's a Sunday, but they move through the program pretty darn quick. So
Yeah,
if you want a few extra bucks on the weekend racing, head over to the Tri County Speedway on Sunday as well. Well, thank you, Jordan, for taking some time out of your schedule. Best of luck in the final preparations for this weekend, and hope you end up with some good finishes. And thank you, everyone else, for tuning in as well.
yeah. Thank you, Mason. Thank you for everything you do for all us racers. So appreciate it a lot.
Absolutely. Love doing it. Love this sport, and especially love the street stocks. So keep on rocking the street stocks as long as you can.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Take care, everyone. We'll see you hopefully next week.